Good morning, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the PM and AM show. I'm your host, Pat Bernard, alongside with my right-hand man, Mike Lauer. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, what's up, Patrick? How are you?
Good, good. Al Safiri's producing the show. Al, how's it hanging?
Shortened to the left.
There you go.
Oh,
Short
Jesus, here we go. 30 seconds in.
Just yank on it 3 times. You'll be all right. It feels good. Ew, it's pleasurable, sometimes painful. But anyway, listen.
My ears this part of the morning is painful.
You know, I truly love this city, Mike. And here goes why. Because there's been a player through the course of this baseball season who's been down on his luck. Every time he comes to the plate, it's a strikeout or it's a fly out, something. Something is not going his way. One, Trea Turner has been struggling so bad, even his own mom has to chime in and tell him how bad he stinks. For a guy to be down on his luck this past weekend, the Philly fans really deserve MVP because they got behind this guy and cheered him on and really rallied behind him. And what a game that he had last night. 2 for 4, a home run, a big time double. Mike, what has transpired? I mean, this is not your normal Philadelphia fan base. It is now happening for the past. It's been going for the past 5 years where they've gotten behind someone and they've been down on their luck. Usually they rip them off, and even myself, whose heart's bigger than their brain, react and get crazy. But no, he take a step back, look at the big picture, and really support this guy because we know what he's capable of. And yesterday was a great. Trea Turner had a great defensive game. I mean, making plays, playing shortstop again, having that nice home run, that nice double. Mike, take it away. What's going through Trea Turner's mind right now?
You know, to be honest with you, to me, it was awesome to see. And this guy, I don't like really kind of tooting anybody's own horn, especially here. But you got to give the guy, the Philly captain, a lot of credit. And the reason why I'm saying this is because
He's a good dude too.
Yeah, he is. And I follow his channel, and I think he came out. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. It might have been Thursday. And he said, "You know what?" He said, "Yo, guys." He goes, "Instead of being what we're known for and bone him, let's get behind this guy. Let's." And it really kind of whirlwind because that's all you heard about on Friday on sports talk radio in this city was, "Are you kidding?" Like the talking heads. Are you really going to stand and give him an ovation? I'll tell you what, it was probably the right thing to do. The guy, if you listen to Trea Turner Friday night, granted they didn't get the win, but that dude was choked up. Like you saw him come to the plate, and he was just like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah.
And he said it was pretty effing amazing. And you know what? I know one thing: it's not going to get no national coverage because anytime you do something good here in Philadelphia, it never makes it out of here. The Alec Bohm thing was great last year. They gave him a standing ovation. Why? Because the kid was honest. He said, "Yeah, look, I said it."
Right. And you know what, Mike? You bring a good point because this is something that the national media need to turn their attention towards with Philadelphia. Because it's always the negative narrative of the fan base. They're horrible. Look the way they treat Niner fans. All this other stuff. Blah blah blah. They're still talking about throwing snowballs at Santa Claus and all this other mumbo jumbo. But stuff like this, when the guy's down on their luck through the whole season, the team rallies behind. Just like the Markel Fultz situation back when he first came around, when he had struggled throwing the basketball. They've rallied behind that kid. So again,
it's not the first time. I mean,
right
after Tony Gwynn Sr. passed away, Tony Gwynn Jr. came back after his bereavement list. He came back. The kid got a standing ovation in Philly. Got a standing ovation. It's on YouTube. You can go see it. It's not the first time that the city has gotten behind somebody, but I look at it like this, and this is to all the national pundits out there. If you can document all the stuff that you consider bad stuff in Philadelphia, you can document this too. Right. I'm tired of the one-sided narrative when it comes to Philadelphia. Like the Philadelphia fans are no different than anybody else on the East Coast. They're no different than New York. They're no different than
Happy
Boston.
Sunday, Food.
Happy Sunday, Foods. My mother-in-law Terry checking in.
Hi, Terry. Good morning.
Food says maybe we should give Aaron Nola a standing ovation.
Yeah, that's something we should bring up. I got a lot of people saying to me on the post-game show last night.
Yeah, we're going to get into Aaron Nola a little bit later, but this, as far as talking with Trea Turner goes, like you just saw, you just basically saw this guy go,
Yeah, Fuge.
like, wow, these guys really got behind me. And I don't know. The way he looked at it, it looked like it kind of helped him get out of his shell. If you look at his last couple swings, even though he was making better contact, so you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But the best part about the whole thing was the guy leading the charge in the standing ovation was none other than Nick Castellanos. Who better to understand what this guy's going through than Castellanos? He was here. He did it just a year ago. Nick's out there with the tail, waving the tail, telling the people, let's go, get behind him. And it was really, really good. What's up, Cowboy Dave?
Good morning, Dave.
Checking in.
What's up, buddy?
But to me, that was
What's up, Ties? What's going on, my man?
Sometimes, yeah, man. And I'll tell you what,
Trea's home run was and
since the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I tweeted out the other night when Nick Castellanos had that big hit, and I said, I've never been so happy for another man to hit a home run in my life. And then last night, I'm like, I should have tweeted out, well, this didn't age very well.
Yeah,
like 'cause that's what it felt like. Like I've never been. It's like you get invested in them. And we were talking about it off air, and I got something I got kind of thrown at me during the finals last night and people were, and actually I want to bring up a former EOP alum, Kyle Quinn. I want to bring him up for a second. For those who may not know, Kyle Quinn is the WIP midday producer working with you and Joe Giglio. So he has moved on to do that. So we always love listening to the guys who used to do what we do. But I have bone to pick with this man, which we always end up doing anyway and bring it up on the show. And he was one of those, I don't know if it was a hot take or just wanted to be a hater, that it was phony. That it's phony because we go out of our way to get everybody together, and it's not genuine, making this ovation become kind of a nothing burger in his eyes, I guess is the best way to say it.
But you can't say that because look, it ended up working. I mean, as much as you want to say between them, like, to me, here's a guy who's going to be here for the next decade. Okay, they signed him long term. He's going to be here for a decade. To me, I thought it was a great thing.
Well, everybody keeps going to bring up the old Alec Boehm situation.
Yeah, and
he hated it. I hate this place.
Well, I was just saying here, I mentioned this not too long ago. It was just when the Fultz thing, they were doing the skull clap for Fultz not too long ago. So, and like I said, and to piggyback with Mike, I can't say that about Trea Turner being, if it's genuine. This is genuine. I mean, like you said, it's working. It got behind him. I mean, you look at that, right? So Bryce Harper hits that home run. The fans are electric, and then when they see no more fellas, Pat, like your shirt reminds me of that.
What's up, Insanio?
Thank you, the Boston Strangler. Thank you,
the Boston Strangler.
So, but anyway, I really gotta say though, to disagree with Kyle Quinn, I mean, you gotta think it's the fans getting behind him. Like I said, then he's piggybacking off of the Bryce Harper home run, and then it's electric. So yeah, you got to put yourself in that kid's shoes, right? You got to put yourself in Trea Turner's shoes. Like you're struggling, you're down on your luck, you're hearing all the conversation. Like, guys like me, a hot-headed moron, going on and
I'm glad you said that because we were supposed to have court this morning, but after that game yesterday, court got adjourned.
Yeah, it definitely threw some cold water on my shoulders. So.
Pat, it's Sunday morning, man. You got to stop with the words, man. Like, there's somebody at home right now going, what did he just say?
I think it's more like a squadoosh, if you ask me. But
my piscadillo, all right? Is there some cold water in my piscadillo?
Here we go. We got the FCC's going to be yelling at us soon. Pat's over here cursing in
different languages. Dives is saying, I'm a behavior analyst, and last night was an exhibit of power of positive reinforcement. And
yes.
And here's my thing is, this is where I'm going to push back on Kyle. All right. My thing is, I can honestly, if I want to play devil's advocate for a second, I can honestly understand what he's saying, that if everybody has to get together to cheer somebody on, it seems forced. I'll give him that. But if you can get one of the most pig-headed, one of the most stubborn fan bases to all come together and get at least 40-ish thousand fans who went to the game to stand up and cheer a guy on when he's down. Does that not speak volumes
And then,
to what this fan base is? Sorry, Pat, but I'm just saying, like, does it not speak of the ability of what we can do and all the narratives, all the Santa Clauses, all the batteries that have been thrown, all the cheers and when somebody got hurt, all those bad things. And like Mike was just said earlier, it should be at this point a moot conversation.
It
like,
is, but it'll never be because the rest of the country likes to look at us as animals. Well, guess what?
We
can be animals, but guess what? When you take a stick and you poke a bear, what happens? What happens? You're probably going to get your face gnawed off.
Yeah.
Okay. These people that are outside here who love to talk trash, like on Philadelphia, guys like Craig Carton and some of the other Nick Wrights of the world, who love to take their little their jabs at Philly. Okay. This is our rebuttal to them. And I think it's great because the Philadelphia fan Friday night and last night showed the rest of the nation, like, listen, if you come here and you bust it for us, and we know, like, Trey Turner's that dude who's going to get his uniform dirty. And everybody sees right now, listen, he's had a lot of bad luck going in with this. I mean, there's some balls that he smoked, and there's somebody there. But then again, that's baseball. Your best players, your best hitters, considered by baseball, is averaging 3 out of 10 hits.
Yeah.
So I mean,
30% is a win.
Right.
Do any job at 30% and tell me you're gonna make $300 million doing it.
And his story alone is just genuine. I mean, like I said, his mom's text him saying you stink. He's getting bumped out of from the 2-hole all the way down to the 9th. I mean,
everybody's had their mom tell you they suck.
All the time.
You're from Philly. Sooner or later, at one point, your mom has looked at you in disgrace.
Oh, you trust me. You look at me.
That's a daily occurrence with that.
Just looks at a sock drawer and knows that something's not right.
She just looks and is like, you're washing them.
Yeah.
Says, hey, Chuck, you should just put the condom on. Chuck, you should just put the condom on.
Move on. Move on.
But
this one for like the day of PennDOT.
But no, it's like I said, it's for a guy like I said, it's just been down on his luck, just had like tons of struggles, and to see him rebuttal and feed off this Philadelphia fan base. Like you said, you get two things with the Philadelphia fan base. Like you said, Mike, you poke the bear, you get the fight. But however, we are the first person who will take our coats off and put it around your back and we'll make you feel comfortable. Just don't go peeing on our carpets because you will get thrown into the doghouse.
And again, kind of in Pat's way of saying it, like
I'm gonna drink my coffee.
Yeah. That's the thing is like it goes to show you that how this fan base can change everything. How you always talk about the sixth man in basketball,
right?
In baseball, maybe the 10th man, whatever it is you want to look at, the 12th man in football.
Listen, this is the thing that gets me right. Seattle's got the 12th man.
Yeah.
Now, granted, their stadium gets really loud.
Yeah,
they do. They make a lot of noise. But what's the difference between what Seattle does in football and what the Phillies fans did over these last 2 games?
They were just cheering and getting loud. We were supporting.
Yes.
I mean, I've never heard anybody, so many people on social media agree. Not that everybody agreed, but the majority agreed that like people were just saying like, if you can't get behind somebody, in a positive way, when you see that that's the thing is like people were out there comparing it to Joel Embiid and James Harden as of lately and not supporting them.
Why they quit?
And my thing is about Aaron Nola. Should we do a standing O for him? I said the difference is it's the MO. And what I mean by the MO, that this is the constant. It's not something that we've only known Trey Turner for 3/4 of a year of a season here in Philly, and everything has showed us that he has owned it. He has owned it. When that Miami series, when we should have won all 4 games, in that 3rd game, he came out and he said, "Yeah, I lost that game for us. I lost that game for us." And they say, "Oh, well, there's reports that he went right back to the batting cages and was in the batting cages till midnight." And you're right. You're like, you think to yourself, okay, well, this guy He's in the batting cages to midnight. He's owning the situation, and he's still not getting anywhere. I mean, you don't have to be a psychiatrist to figure out it's between the head. And maybe all he needs to know that there's, millions of fans that, don the red and white pinstripes on a daily basis who put their hard money out, who actually get it. We've all been there. We've all had moments in our life where it sucked, where it doesn't look like anything's going our way, no matter how hard we try. And this should be the story nationally, Mike. And I'm going to agree with you. I know they're not going to cover it the way they should, but talk about a heartwarming moment from, again, a fan base.
One of the most rabid, as we're told, we're the most ruthless rabid fan base, but yet back-to-back days of 40+ thousand people. That's 80,000 people so far has given this guy a standing ovation. And again, I got to go back. You got to give John, aka the Philly captain, credit for this, because he was the one who came out on social media and said, listen, this guy is already beaten down like a dog. The last thing we need to do as a fan base is to boo this dude. We got to get behind this dude. And again, the whole way into the stadium going into Friday night's game, he's telling people, hey, when Turner comes up, we're giving him a standing O. Everybody on their feet. And that took a life of its own and just went. And you know what? People did it. And you know what? It just shows, I think it shows the more, I guess you could say, maturity of our fan base now.
Right.
Because our fan base, listen, I'm not going to lie, we have knuckleheads. We actually had somebody eat horse poop after we won the Super Bowl. So, yes.
They were from Jersey.
They were, but still, they were part of our village. The security guards were not doing their job at the door, at the beginning of the village.
And I get it's got to have protein in it. I get it, but still. You all right?
All right, guys. Well, nice seeing you. For Pat, for Mike, we're out.
Don't we have a commercial spot to run?
Yeah, you want to run a commercial spot?
Yeah, we need David Archerry after this one.
All right, I'll give you David Archerry. David Archerry is the man when you get hurt at work, hurt in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, criminal law. You call him at 610-565-0300, or you go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Because like I've told you guys before, if you get hurt at work or in a car accident or any one of these many things, it literally, talk about turning your world upside down, can do so. So you need the guy who's going to get in your corner and fight for your rights. 610-565-0300 to call Dave Cherry directly, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to talk to Dave after this show today. Because my ears, I have a constant pain in my ears after.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was the gobbler line.
Gobbler line is here, dude. Halfway.
That's
what
she said. I think the gobbler line keeps sliding down to the point where it's just
dude, you know what? I'm just going to look at you and say, let me finish this.
Yeah.
Unless
you see nothing but ice in the cup, there's your gobbler line.
Okay. But Pat, listen though, honestly, getting back to this, I love how it, like you said, Al, this should be a moment for it should be a moment for Major League Baseball to kind of jump on, and especially if Trea starts to turn a season around.
Yeah, right. I mean, I know we have to wait to see if this is a continuation. Yeah,
I mean, but still, even though it's a nice little story now, but imagine if this dude gets hot now. You know what I mean? And he goes on a streak.
And maybe, like you said, this is maybe the push into the gravity that he needed. He just needed that push over the edge, and this could have helped it. So Joey Woods checking in says, baseball is the wildest sport. You can lose 70 games and consider it a good season. Well,
He's
listen,
not lying. He's not
no,
lying.
it's not lying at all. So, but Mike, here goes some more part of the game. So you had Christopher Sanchez came up. He had 6 Ks. Roughly about the fifth inning, it got real ugly for the Phillies because we had Brandon Marsh. Looks like he, I don't know if he tweaked his.
He's got a contusion, they said last
Okay,
night.
so he's definitely.
Yeah, they said there's going to be more testing, but as far as I know, I figure they're going to wait to at least today before they perform an MRI or anything on him to see how he feels when he wakes up. But X-rays showed just a contusion, which for anybody who doesn't know, it's just a fancy doctor way of saying bruise.
Yeah, so he bruised his knee. Christopher Sanchez winds up getting dinged up a little bit in the 5th. He gave up 4 straight errors. The kid, what's his name? Freddie, not Freeman, but Fryman or something. He had back-to-back home runs off Christopher Sanchez. Mike, are you still concerned about this starting pitching?
I'm not concerned about the starting pitching. I just feel like the Phillies have been playing up to their competition level. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because they were pumped. They played really good baseball down in Florida. They really did. I mean, the pitching was outstanding. The bullpen was outstanding. But if you look at it, they dropped 2 or 3 to Pittsburgh. Okay. Then now they got the Royals coming in. And I'm sorry, I think the Royals are a little bit better than a 34-win team if you take a look at it because their interleague play has been pretty good. They've been pretty good against the National League. And they got a nice young nucleus. They got a lot of nice young hitters over there. Their problem is pitching. So their pitching can't hold leads. If they had any type of pitching, like they probably would have won both games of this series so far.
Yeah.
But you got to.
I mean, they're like I said, that's why I can understand not getting super excited just yet. They are a 36-win team. You know what I mean? It's like at what the 110 marker, So
I mean, listen, but you got to give them their due, though. I mean, they do have a world championship.
Give them their due.
They have a world championship within the last decade. So I mean,
yeah.
So with that being said, and like I said, I like their nucleus. I like the kid Witt, Friedman. What's the other?
Yeah. You got the veteran Duffy over there.
Yeah, Duffy's over there. So I
Blanco.
I mean, they're looking really good. Speaking of baseball, real quick, guys, I just want to go off topic. Last night, did you see the fist fight between Ramirez and Tim Anderson?
No.
Oh, it was the most. It was 2 punches. Ramirez hits Anderson, and Anderson just goes down.
Really?
Get a chance to look it up. It was the funniest thing. He had literally had somebody like around him, and he like sucker punched him. It just dropped him. That was it. There's our boy Joe Sullivan checking in. Get this W today. I think they will today, man. I think they do.
Yeah, Joe. This I agree with. Like, here's a guy. Like, if you're not, most people around here are not a Kansas City Royal fan, but a young guy you want to keep your eye on.
Yeah.
Bobby Witt Jr.
Bobby Witt Jr. is. I mean, I think they said he's the first guy in Major League Baseball to have his first 2 seasons where he had 20+ home runs and
30+ steals.
Yeah, like it's pretty crazy. So,
and you know what's up? The thing that kills me is like Kansas City usually gets some pretty good young talent. The thing is, saw it. He saw it. Yeah, Anderson got dropped. But getting back to those guys will be they'll be pretty good. And Witt plays shortstop, but he can also play left field. They started him out as a left fielder. So the problem.
And here's the other thing is here. Think how bad Kansas City is. He must be something special in their eyes because they could have traded him away probably for a nice haul, to another team, and they held on to him and said, "No."
Well, they got to build somewhere. Yeah. They got to build somewhere, and Kansas City's one of them teams, man. They're just, it's their payroll, man. They're one of them small market teams, Royals fan here.
No.
I don't hate you guys for 1980 though. Well, you shouldn't hate us.
That
was a great World Series, to be honest.
I wasn't even born.
So. No,
I was 4.
Yeah, so you can hate me all you want. People hate me for many other reasons.
Yeah, you can line up around the corner for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, just taking it back from yesterday's game. Like I said, Christopher Sanchez gets a little dinged up, giving up.
I'm not worried about him. Are you? I'm not, because. Yeah, he got a little banged up yesterday.
He's due for a letdown.
Right. He's been money kind of.
He's been money out through the whole month of July.
And here's the thing, too. With them picking up Lorenzen, you're going to get quality starts out of him. I mean, God, dude, his first start, he goes 8 innings. Like we've been.
And maybe this is the byproduct of picking up a guy like Lorenzen. You're like, they're going to 6-man rotation, and he's probably sitting there going, well, what's this mean for me in the future? Like, he might have felt like, maybe got a little. Maybe he saw a weaker team. The Kansas City Royals and let us go down, or he just had a bad game. Yeah. One of many reasons. I'm not ready to throw him out because he had one bad game after how many good starts.
If you take a look at it, really, once the playoffs start, you're basically down to a 3, possibly 4-man rotation. You got 6 starters. Like right now, if I'm the Phillies, dude, your 3 main starters are going to be Wheeler, Taijuan Walker, and then Lorenzen. Lorenzen or Sanchez. Like you literally have. Like, no, Aaron Nola right now, he'd be doing bullpen duty for me.
Oh, I agree with you, but I mean, I think the reality is he's going to get the start. I'm with you.
I'm just saying, though, like, if you're looking at it, man, you're definitely going to do that.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to get back to talking some Phillies baseball.
Oh, never mind.
Oh,
awesome.
All right.
We'll get him back.
All right, man. Well, listen, in a little bit, my man Double G, Gary Groob from All Lacrosse All the Time is going to be checking in, talking some, because the Wings, I mean, this past week, again, make another big splash, but, we'll wait to get him on the airways. But yeah, like I said, looking at the Phillies though, again, you look at Harper though. He's been playing very, very well this past. Of course, we know Stott's been playing well. Bohm's been playing very, very. He's been setting the tone. All right, well, listen. On the phone lines is my man Gary Groob. What's up, big dog?
How's it going there, Pat? Happy morning. Head still swerving around from all the swerves last night.
Oh, listen.
And that's just the Archers Atlas game, let alone the wrestling. Never mind.
Yes. Look, the wrestling's been hot. And listen, I gotta bring to your attention. The Wings made a little blockbuster move this past Friday.
They did.
Well, they did. They gave up Trevor Batiste. They're one of the best face-off men in the NLL. Third in loose balls. Picked up 218 of them. So
yeah. But that had to do more with again. Remember, NLL is a part-time league. It had to do with a work situation, and he requested the trade, and they accommodated. So it was kind of a necessary evil because you don't want to get rid of one of the best face-off men in the game. But you take lemons and you make lemonade, right?
Oh yeah.
And they made it was a 3-team blockbuster between San Diego, New York, and Philadelphia. And a lot of players started moving around. A lot of pieces started moving around. Now, Day has been systematically trying to revamp this team. Last week we talked about offense. He signed Mitch Jones for a couple of years. He added Holden Catoni in there to go with Russaterets and with Jones. And this time around, plus the goaltending thing that you love so much, with Zach Higgins for a couple of years,
Yeah.
And he also signed Deacon Knott, which is the future, right?
Right.
Who I'll probably see later today when I head up to Peterborough for that game. But this week, he took a look at some of the problems they had on defense.
Yeah.
And he got rid of Kyle Matisse, which is your former captain now, who was a decent D-man and a good transition guy, was starting to get up there in age. And in return, they now have Scott Dominy, who is a friend of mine. And I've known him since he was on the practice squad here in Toronto. Nipissing University kid who really helped turn that program around when he was doing field up there. And his nickname is the Flash. So transitionally, you're looking at really some good pieces in there. And I think that maybe Day is going more towards they're going to run the daylights out of you because you got Dominy. You also have Wagner, Davis Allen, Alex Pace, Minichello. You got a lot of guys with a lot of speed.
Yeah.
So transitionally, they're going to be very hard to stop. And where do you get the other teams all disheveled and trying to take penalties and getting penalties? Is when you start running the ball up the floor quickly. Now the changes don't go so smooth, and they start getting too many men on the floor. You start getting power plays. Then you start letting guys like Mitch Jones, Russaterets, these guys, let them do their thing.
Yeah.
So,
from what I'm seeing though, like I said, when we talked on All Lacrosse all the time, you catch it tonight at 9:00. I mentioned.
Actually, we're on 11 a.m. We're on after you this morning.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I got to get to Peterborough to get that game tonight. So.
Oh, nice. Well, listen, I mentioned that they needed defense. They needed something in front of it. Higgins, if Higgins is going to keep on lining up goals in the second half, you need a defense in front of him, especially if there's no communication on that side of the ball in the second half. You're going to need some kind of combination to him. So with that going on, you've seen it. They made some moves with the New York Riptide to bring in some guys who could play defense, who could play the transition player. And
well, that's where the other piece of this trade I like. They got Mike McCannell, and he was drafted by San Diego, and it was a 2021. He was their first pick in the entry draft, and really hasn't had much of a chance to get in that lineup because they put together this all-star team over the last little while. But he's had a really good at Stony Brook University career, and he's mature. He's ready to take the next step up. Solid defenseman, which is right in the wheelhouse of what Paul Day is looking to do, because they want to get younger too. You got guys like Ian Lord and Schul on it who are old veterans. Now he's going to keep Shule, obviously, because he needs someone to drop the mitts.
Right.
But Ian Lord, it wouldn't be surprised to me if this is his last year, and maybe he gets in on the coaching staff, which would be a step upward, if he could be a defensive guy. Between Day, McComb, and if you have Ian Lord there, I think you have a solid coaching staff there as well. And piece by piece by piece, this is starting to look like a really good operation again. Now, where do you go for face-off guys now?
Well,
that's the other issue. And is it that important? Because remember, the Wings won 85% of their face-offs, and they didn't do very well, right?
Right. Well, you got to remember too. Now they're going. They didn't have a pick this year's draft. Now they're going to have two. They're going to have the 18th overall pick and the 22nd. So that's going to come into play. And like I said, with you're definitely going to need a face-off, especially when you have to fill the gap for Trevor Batiste. Like you said, that dude is like a rhino. Right there in the middle for you. And if you didn't see any of Trevor Batiste, I mean, listen, he put the archers on the ropes yesterday. He had them choking up. So, again, a recognizable piece that's it's going to suck losing him for the Philadelphia Wings. But however, I'm curious to know how Paul Day is going to fill that need.
Yeah, but to that point, man, the Atlas is only 2 wins this year, right?
Yeah, good
point.
point.
That's not the be all end all. Your thing. If you have a good defensive strategy, what to do afterwards for a cost turnover, you can negate not winning faceoffs.
Yeah.
And you can get another skilled player out there to do that, and defensively or transitionally, and then move it into your offense.
Right.
And they have enough players that they can do that. So I don't think that's the be all and end all. Now we also got to remember that they do have some bruisers back there on defense. They got Chad Tutton for that particular thing. If these guys can stay healthy, it'd be great. Krepinsak, I don't know. Maybe they'll let him walk. But so far, you got bruisers back there. If everybody can get on the same page, I think they really have something going on there.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of really big steps. One of the things though is the lefty situation, right? You have 6. And, some people are talking about, maybe Matt Rambo should be traded, even though he's a local guy. He might be the man out in all this. Now, Matt Rambo from the PLL, he's awesome.
Right.
Now, can you get some decent return for him? Definitely. So maybe that's the way that the Day is going to be looking. So there's a number of different ways to go. And, we're just in the start of free agency. There's still some big names out there. Kyle Rubisch is a name that comes to mind, even though he wants to be closer to home, which is one of the reasons why he didn't offer staying in Saskatchewan. But, Philly isn't that big a trip.
No.
From Ontario.
No, not at all.
You hop on a plane and up and down in 45 minutes, and there you go, right? So there it is. So that's a possibility. So, you can look at a number of different things. And if he can get some, again, draft picks for Rambo, because I don't think he needs players. He's going to have a camp of about 40 guys in there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the right 40 guys, if you can pick your 20 guys out of that, you're already looking great. And I do think it's Deacon Knott's year to be on the to start as the backup. But I don't know. Maybe by mid-year, he's starting. Who knows?
Who knows is right, but so
because that'll certainly push Higgins to the max, right? If you got somebody breathe, when you have Goodleaf on the bench, and his best days are 7 years ago, and he's there to count to 5 and let the guys in and out of the bench, you don't have that incentive to be, I got to be on my top game all the time, because there's no one there going to be taking your job. If you got Deacon Knott who's chomping at the bit to be a starting goalie in the NLL, you tend to up your game no matter what, right?
Yeah, you're fighting for your position at that point.
Exactly. So if nothing else, it's incentive to keep him interested for 60 minutes. And at worst case scenario, you have an up and coming. Remember, let's look at the lineage of Deacon Knott. He was a gold medalist with the Canadian junior team. He's in the middle of the OJLL playoffs finals right now, playing for Burlington against Orangeville, and they just gave them their first defeat all year. I think they were 26-0 before that happened, and and could be vying for a Minto Cup this year. out in Edmonton. So there's a lot of upside to Deacon in his game. Plus, I know Deacon well, and very level-headed kid. This is not like going to be something that's, oh my God, an overwhelming situation. He's just very, very chill, very laid back, but down to business, and he never seems to be out of position.
Right.
So,
Well, we got Muffler Mike checking into the program, Muff with the stuff. He goes, maybe they should trade with Vegas for Zach Cole and St. Joe's product. Yeah. What's your take on that?
it's possible, and believe me, I'm sure Sean Williams is open to any and all decent trade ideas. And if we're talking about Rambo, he'd fit in great over there. He'd fit in terrific over there. And if you're going to get a St. Joe's product over in Philadelphia, well, like I know, that'll go over huge.
Oh, absolutely. So I know my man Mike said he's looking to get involved with, start following the Wings. Me and him, we work together constantly. So he said he's looking to get in. So what can we tell Mike? Just get into the Wings. Will this team be, in your eyes, Gary, a playoff contender? Will they just barely? Will they be in that wild card hunt? Where do you see right now on paper with the Philadelphia Wings?
No, I think the Philadelphia Wings have done enough now to move themselves into a conversation about the upper part of the Eastern Division. Now, Toronto and Buffalo still are the powerhouses of that division. Rochester has been working its way up there, but I would easily say that Philadelphia and Rochester look to be battling for third place right now. Now, again, we talked about it last year, Buffalo and their age. Yes, they won the championship, but the age factor is going to start bringing into an account thing here now. You have a lot of grizzled veterans who are looking to win that championship and win it for Buffalo since they hadn't won it since 2008. Well, they did it. So, yeah, a lot of the guys stuck around. Nick Weiss just re-signed. Steve Priola just re-signed. But, they're on the way out. And Buffalo's going to have to think about retooling soon. So, is it time for another team to step up into that category? Well, Philadelphia is looking, and they've done a lot of moves and a lot of really decent moves to bring it up. And it doesn't hurt that a bunch of them are Peterborough guys. And since Paul Day is the general manager of Peterborough as well in the summer, they all know each other. So you have cohesion right away. You don't have to start looking for new chemistry. They already work together. And they've won 4-man cups in a row. So they're looking to win a fifth one now in their middle of the playoffs. And they're up 2-0 in their best of 7 series playing tonight. So there's a lot of cohesion on that team. Unlike other teams that are trying to fit pieces and see if guys will work together, and then, you'll find it out in training camp. This team is already 3 steps ahead of that and looking to add pieces to it that will complement the other pieces. Again, you're looking at, the big guys as Resetarits and Jones, who finished 3rd and 6th in scoring. Well, I don't see anything stopping them from doing that again, if not better.
Right.
Since you're going to have Mitch Jones at a full year with the Wings. And he doesn't have to be the guy with some of the other pieces in there now. He can be the setup man as well. And he's going to draw an awful lot of attention no matter where he goes, which is going to leave other guys open. You can have your cutters cut around center. You can do all kinds of little havoc things that's going to mess with their defense. So once all that goes into play, all bets are off, right? Then it doesn't matter. You're not going to set up a box. You're not going to play zone because these guys are going to run amok on you.
Yeah, it's going to be looking.
You have Domini in there, who I sent you a clip last night. I hope you looked at it. But that's just a tip of the iceberg of what Scott Domini does. He is so quick that he makes people just nervous just watching him come up the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the skill, and he spends hours, and I mean hours, practicing. These things don't just come. One-handed shots, behind the back shots, these shots, other shots. And to put that with speed and accuracy and creativity, well, all of a sudden, the defense is already moving around on the bench as soon as he gets the ball on defense. And now you got guys jumping the benches quickly, and now you start getting, like I said before, power plays.
Right.
Now you let your boys do the work. And if you have a top-line power play and you got enough guys that can do this, then, put it on the board.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting team. Like I said, coming up in the winter. I can't wait to get down there and start covering these guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a wild season. So let me ask you before I let you go, Gary. Gary, I saw you this past week. I saw you with some new, fresh, cool looking gear. It says to me like I could dig hot chicks. Hot chicks are going flocking to me. I'm not afraid of barbed wire. If I see a bar banter, he's going to step away from me. It says all these cool things. So where can all across all the time fans get the gear?
You can DM us individually. We get it all done from a gentleman in Cincinnati. We shop American,
Oh, nice. Well, listen, I'm thinking about just getting a jacket, no pants, and I think I'm going to just put a lot of intimidation in some people.
Oh boy, Gary, I got a quick question.
How are you?
I got a
Good
quick.
to hear you.
Yeah,
Throw me a lifeline, are you?
yes, I am. I have to get you off of that because I have to deal with this on a weekly basis. Question about your Toronto Argonauts. How are they doing?
Well, they just dropped one this past weekend. Their quarterback got a little bit gimpy in the second quarter, but they are 6-1 right now. They're rolling. Chad Kelly is the real deal. He is like Uncle, and he's got a gun for an arm. He's got great wheels. He's got a good vision of the field, and Mike Pinball Clements has put together a team that both can run and also good with the wideouts. So they can stretch that field immensely. We have two world-class running backs with Ouellette and Harris. So you can't really rest on anything. And if you're going to be covering those guys, you got Kelly, who's got wheels too. So I have a feeling this is going to be another really great year. And since the Grey Cup is in Hamilton, the arch nemesis, nothing like winning a Grey Cup on their home turf.
Oh man. Oh well, listen. That's one thing I was able to. I like football of all, so I watch a lot of. I watch springtime football here in the States with the XFL and the USFL. I watch both leagues besides the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually just started, believe it or not, starting to try to get to know Canadian Football League. I know you guys have two 50-yard lines and a center line. That's always thrown me through a loop. And you guys,
110-yard field. It's also wider.
yes,
At a 20-yard end zone, right? So,
yes.
and also the goalposts are at the front of the front of the end zone, right?
Yes.
That's old school, right there.
That's old school for us. I mean,
Well, it makes everything live, right? So, things aren't just dead if they miss. So you have a lot of opportunities for runouts, for points, for other things going on as well. So there's a lot of strategy to how to do things, especially near the ends of the games.
Yeah, but the reason why I was asking you this because one, I wanted to save you from Pat's comment. Two, because like I said, being a guy from the States and trying to follow Canadian football, for us, sometimes we may look at it and go, "That's just a little off." What can you tell us? Because to me, it seems like a very exciting game. Your scoring to me is what's very unique with some of your 3-point plays and your 2-point plays. That's can you explain that a little bit?
Well, sometimes you're looking at about getting field position. If you're going to be kicking from your 1-yard line, and again, you're talking about a 110-yard field, and you're going to wind up with the team sitting there on the 40 of your 40, maybe it's just worth it to take the safety, get it out on the 35, kick it from there, and get really good field position where you're giving away 2 instead of 7 or 3, depending.
Okay.
Remember also this is that with 2 and out, 2 downs, there's only 3 downs, right, in Canadian football. You're going to get an awful lot of opportunity. Also, the clock doesn't start again on a play until the ball is reset. So you can't just wander all the time off at a glimpse. So I've watched with 3 minutes left, a 21-point lead is not safe.
Okay.
That makes for a very interesting game no matter what.
Right.
And I've watched games in playoffs turn around just that quickly.
Wow.
So
So it's kind of like arena.
yeah.
It's kind of like arena football, but outdoors and wider. Because arena football is the
Yeah.
same way.
Well, the one thing that always stands out is that it's because the fields are so much wider, there's a lot more throwing, a lot more big plays, as opposed to just running it down the gut.
Right.
So, you're going to try and, first down, you're going to try and get as much as you can. So the second down, you're running for the yard, right? So you're going to see a lot more creativity. You're not going to see as big a guys usually than the NFL, but you're going to see a lot of quicker guys. on the whole.
Well, I appreciate your insights into the CFL.
And
So
I appreciate you putting up with Pat as much as we do.
Oh, dude, he's my nighttime therapist. So listen, Gary does a great job. Again, catch him at 11 o'clock this morning, special start time, right after PM and the AM show. Guys, you guys want to get all your lacrosse and all the PLL action that went down yesterday. Head out, check out Double G, Double S, Double M. They're going to have you covered. So, Gary, thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll look to talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. It's good to talk to all of you.
Gary, again, we apologize for Pat.
Be well, guys.
Be well, man.
Well,
I gotta just say something real quick about Gary. One of the hardest working men in professional sports, right there. That man has been, constantly between him, Mike, and Sean. It's just a 3-man crew. Plus Pat helps out too, more of the Philadelphia end of things. But if they're not constantly writing, putting up articles on EOPsports.com, they're covering games. He was invited by the NLL commissioner to go to the draft. Where did he go? He went to
San Diego.
He was in Prague earlier. He was in San Diego for, I don't know, not World Cup. I want to say World Cup. Whatever the big
world-class lacrosse.
Yeah. So if you guys, if you have any interest in lacrosse or think you might or have a kid or something, these are the guys to follow. You heard what he talked about. He talked about the ins and outs, the X's and O's, all that stuff of lacrosse. But he also did it in a really entertaining fashion. So I'm not just saying this because they're part of our network. I'm telling you guys, all lacrosse all the time.
If you don't know enough about the sport and you want to get to know the sport of lacrosse, these are the guys to watch. And when I have the time at night, usually they're on Sunday nights, but when I have the time, I will try to chime into their show because once again, like I told you, I'm trying to get back into the wings again. Right. I was into it as a kid, never really understood the game. Our wings back in the day was brawls and everything else. So
it's just like hockey was back in
the day. It's just on foot.
It's hockey, it's on foot and the stick's up in the air, not down on the ground.
I have to get at you about.
Hold on 1 second, real quick, before we tear Pat a new one, which is always fun here. On PM and AM. But guys, I would remind you that PhillySportsTrips.com is the place to go to get all your ultimate trips for all the football games coming up for the Eagles. Away games are all going to be there. I believe the Phillies San Diego trip is either closed or closing. So you might today might be the absolute last day to sign up for the San Diego trip going out September 2nd to the 6th. I have one up on the screen here talking about the first football trip to New England on the 8th to the 11th. Guys, different packages, different prices. Even if you're not in the area, maybe you're a Boston guy who's an Eagles fan who doesn't live in the area. They actually will be working with a local fan partnership there called Philadelphia Eagles Fans of Boston for that one. So you're like, oh, I like them, but I'm all the way in Boston. You don't have to buy the whole package. Just get the tailgate. Go with the ticket. Go with the crew. Hang out. Go to PhillySportsTrips.com. Make a selection. It's not just the football games. It's not just the baseball games. They got hockey. They got it all. They do Sixers packages. They do Union packages. They do it all. More packages than Pat knows what to do with. So, guys, go to PhillySportsTrips.com.
Yeah, now I got to get on you about something.
Yeah, whip it out. Bring it to me.
I said the word packages.
See, you had to bring up packages.
Yeah, I had to bring up packages. I'm sorry.
Our boy called it a career yesterday. Cole Hamels.
Yes.
Before we get into Cole, I also want to say, watched the U.S. women's team this morning.
Okay.
Lost in heartbreaking fashion. I don't know if you guys seen it.
No.
They lost in penalty kicks. Literally, the girl from the U.S. team, the goalkeeper, made a tremendous save. The ball went up in the air and was literally that much over the line. That's how Sweden knocked them out, eliminated.
Oh, wow.
So,
tough the first time U.S. has lost in a while, too?
Yeah, and they're the first ones. They were the first champions to ever be knocked out in the opening round of the knockout stage. They played a great game. They did. That goaltender for Sweden, Milinovic, her name was.
God bless you.
Girl had 21 saves. 21 saves. So, wow. They were pressuring. It's just the ball didn't find the back of the net for them. So, kudos to them. he got to the round of 16. I know people expected him to go further, but this is kind of a train. What's the team? Team's kind of turning over. This
Transition year.
Yeah, it's like a transition cup for this team. A lot of young players, a lot of older players, kind of mixed in. So, look again, hats off to the ladies.
Yeah.
To the ladies. But I wanted to bring up our boy Cole.
Yes. I'm ready to touch on him.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you are. Out of here on that one. Yeah, he called it a career yesterday after 15 years.
Officially, yeah.
Officially.
Because he hasn't played since 2020, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So he decided to take an extra 3 years to decide whether he was going to retire or not, but he officially retired. Do the Phillies bring him back? And do you think his number gets retired?
Good question.
He spent a decade here with the team.
Spent a decade, 15 years in the majors, 163 wins, 560 Ks, 17th overall draft pick in 2002, made his debut in 06, four-time All-Star.
I was at his debut game.
Were you?
Yeah.
First, he had that no hitter back on July 25th, 2015.
His last start as a Philly.
Against the Cubbies. Third most strikeouts in the franchise history behind lefty and Roberts. I think you do have to retire his number.
I don't think his number gets retired, but I do think he ends up on the Wall of Fame.
Yeah, he'll definitely be a Wall of Famer.
Now, question that being, he's also a World Series MVP. Did he do enough in his 15 years to get into baseball's ultimate Hall of Fame?
He's got the numbers. He might not make it.
I don't think he's a first ballot.
No.
I think he'll eventually get in there.
I hope he does.
But my biggest thing with not biggest thing, but kind of a regret, and we're kind of seeing it this year too with Aaron Nola. This is the comparison that I'm drawing with Hamels and Nola. Is Nola, I believe, is having a Cole Hamels 2009 type year. You remember in 2009, he wasn't quite the same after that long playoff run. Nola's kind of going right back to that. Looks like he kind of pitched in a little too many games a year ago. So I'm kind of segueing here into this Aaron Nola thing. That's why I wanted to bring up Cole, because I see a lot of similarities between the 2009 Cole Hamels and this 2023 Aaron Nola, where in 2009 Cole couldn't do nothing right. It was either he got shellacked or the team didn't put up enough runs. Like he would go out and have a dominating outing and lose 1-0. To me, this is looking like the same now with Aaron Nola. If he is getting a dominant performance, the bats ain't coming alive. And the other times, it just looked like he's pitching batting practice.
Well, yeah, that's been Nola's thing. It's just there's days you're like, he plays like an ace, and it's like, no, you're not playing like an ace at all. You're playing like you belong in. You're playing Cam River Sharks worthy at this point.
It's not even just Nola not playing well certain days, it's certain innings.
Yeah, it's always that fourth.
If you were to go through like his last 10 starts, say, subtract 1 inning, he'd be pitching low. He'd probably be like a sub-2 ERA. It's just
he gets that 1 inning. And like I said, to me, this reminds me of the 2009 version of Cole Hamels. Mm-hmm. Cole Hamels could do that. Again, he would get 1 bad inning, start giving up a bunch of home run balls. Honestly, I think he needs to get rid of that cutter. I think he only needs to throw that cutter twice a game. He's got to stop relying on it. And to me, because that's the ball that's getting hit out.
Well, right.
Is it because he doesn't trust his fastball?
Something's there. Something's not right there. And I don't know if we're going to find out something after the season or something.
Well, that's not to shift gears, but I feel like that was a little bit of Christopher Sanchez's game yesterday. Like he didn't throw not one fastball. It was all cutters and sinkers, and curves.
And they wound up. Fastball's not his bread and butter. Remember, he's sliders, things like that. That's what hurt him was either his fastball or his slider being left in the middle of the plate to be hit again. So
yeah, and if you're looking at
why he's a 5 starter.
But if you're looking at Nola, that's Nola's issue though too. Nola's not blowing the ball by guys. he's getting in there, and it's like he's trying to throw the perfect pitch.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like. I got to throw this pitch, and I got to throw it perfect.
Yeah.
And what happens is, he throws it perfect for the batter, and the dudes are just jacking him out of the park. That's why I'm saying, like, I think he's got to leave that cutter alone. Leave it alone, man. Like, go to it maybe once or twice a game. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, he's got to go back to doing what he does best, which is pound the zone with the fastball, get it up, elevate it, drop it, do it different levels. That's when Aaron Nola is effective. Right now, he's not doing that. Or if he is doing it, he gets away from it for an inning, tries to get too cute, and the next thing you know, the ball's leaving the yard. Now, I don't know if that's Nola doing that or if that's JT calling that,
Right.
but
Because
there's a disconnect somewhere.
yeah, and you're right because some of his pitches are, like the good ones are up and in where he's got guys chasing. Then there's ones he throws, it's just right over the middle. I'm like, that's a
And
Girl Scout cookie
well,
waiting to
here's
be
the thing,
crushed.
though. Like, when your cutter doesn't cut for a right-handed, this is what made Mariano Rivera so great. Mariano Rivera would throw a ball, and it would go looking like it was coming towards you, and then cut in.
Right.
Or he would throw it mid, like, kind of between the batter and the plate, and it would cut in or cut away from a right-handed hitter. So and that's how he would get guys to ultimately get out. That ball's not breaking for Nola. That ball's staying flat. So if it's just coming in like this,
There's no movement.
There's
There's
no
absolutely
movement
no
on it.
movement
So-
on it. Yeah.
so
No.
if it's not going to move for you, get
So
rid of it.
his
And it's
idea is to
Curveball
throw-
too.
Yeah, to throw a perfect pitch and to try to mow guys down with speed with heat, and it's just not panning out.
No, so like I said, we'll see if he can bounce back. We got Taiwan Walker on today.
You gonna give him a standing no, Pat?
Who?
Aaron Nola?
No, I don't think I can.
Listen, I'll give anybody a standing O if it's going to help them.
Right.
If it's going to help my team win, I'll standing O. I'll do it all day long. I don't care.
We got Taiwan Walker today versus Zach Greinke.
That should be a good pitcher matchup. I love the
Zach-
way Walker's been pitching too. Walker's been pitching. Thompson's got to let him go a little bit though. This has been my only issue with Topper is he's been getting away from the starters a little too much, relying a little too much on the bullpen. This is the time of year now. These guys are stretched out. You got to let your pitchers pitch.
Right.
Like
His thought process, and this is why they're going with the 6-man rotation, I think because of that reason. He wants to let them go a little deeper, but at the same time, he's so worried about wearing them down for the postseason if they make a long run. I mean, if you think about it, you go to the World Series, like let's be honest, there's teams in the next 2 months who will be done playing baseball in 2 months' time from now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be guys who have, another a little over 3 months of baseball left. So that's a big difference. And I think he saw that last year, and that's why he's been so steadfast in his decision making like this. It's not just an analytical thing. Like this guy's going to fall apart in the fifth, and we got to pull him.
Let me ask you guys a quick question too. Getting into this, do you think the division's out of reach for the Phillies?
Yeah.
I think it's a tall order, but I don't think it's out of reach.
I don't think it's out of reach either.
I think Braves got this thing wrapped up.
I don't. And
Really?
No.
Listen, if the Braves continue to cruise, and that's all they have to do, they can go on cruise control to win the division. Don't get me wrong, but if at a time they start like they're like 3-7 in 10 games, and the Phillies can be like 8-2 and 9-1, and you can get to like 6 or 7 games out. Yeah, now it's tight. The race becomes tight. It all really over the next couple of weeks will make that. And their next matchup against the Braves, which I think is coming up soon.
Yeah, end of the month.
Yep.
I mean, but all September, also, I mean, I think they got 8 games left with the Braves.
Yeah, you want to play in the whole division again. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be it's again an interesting ride. Today you got to hopefully take the series again, Mike. On the way over here, you alluded, just because on paper that this Royals team looks like,
They're gritty, man. They're gritty.
we should be mopping the floor with them, and it looks like, here goes your typical Phillies playing down their competition. But
They
like you
have
said,
been.
this is a Royals team that's at some point it's going to reach surface and turn things around.
I do, and I believe that too about the Royals because again, to me, their management, their issue with my issue with them is their management.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have a good young core of talent there, and that talent's just learning how to play together. So, I mean, I could see them getting better in the next couple of years. They have a lot of young, talented pieces there. They just got to get pitching. They get pitching, man. They're going to be a dangerous club in that over in the AL. But for the Phillies today, they got to jump on Zach Greinke. Like Greinke's not the same pitcher that he used to be.
No.
So you can definitely get at him. Walker's got to be sharp. I think Walker, and which he has been over the last couple of months.
And unlike Aaron Nola, when he does have an inning where he kind of has struggles, he can right the ship without causing too much damage, and he then just gets locked in.
Yeah, wasn't his last start he didn't look so hot, or the start before that?
It was a couple starts.
Couple starts. Yeah, he didn't look
like
too good.
I think it was like the first inning. He was just
like all over the place.
He loaded the bases and was no, he hit like a home run. They scored 1-0. He loaded the bases with no outs and was able to get out of it without
giving up a
run. And from there on, for the rest of the game, he was just locked in.
Well, that's the take too, and like Steve was just saying, maybe the contract is still playing a thing into his brain.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with that, dude.
I don't know. I can disagree with that a little bit. I don't think like not having the contract either way at him, but I think you have to admit when you bet on yourself and right now you're losing your bet.
Yeah.
There's got to be a little regret in the brain.
Oh, yeah, I would believe so. I think there might be regret on his part, but as far as the contract situation itself, no, he's the one that called it off. He's the one that said, look, if we can't get it done, then, he wants to hit free agency anyway. But the only thing this is going to do is it's going to make the Phillies look right in their evaluation of him because they weren't willing to pay him $25 million a year.
And that's the other thing. Maybe it's I'm not probably going to be a Philly next year because I'm not going to want to work for peanuts.
Right.
And they're not going to want to pay me. And
Right.
now is somebody else, going to be willing to pay? Maybe somebody's going to look at Aaron Nola like he's still young. He's still.
I could see San Diego taking a shot and trying to go after him.
I could see anybody. Like
I could see Kansas City.
I mean, at this point, he's not going to be a high dollar guy, but maybe you'd be willing to pay a little bit more than maybe the Phillies would or some other team would. And it's a roll of the dice, but not a huge roll of the dice with Aaron Nola. Because when Aaron Nola is good, he's
on.
He's ace-like.
Well, I think him and his brother both. I think they're both free agents. So I could see that.
Oh, wow. Somebody bringing on the Nola brothers in. Is that what you're saying?
But
Steve's saying real quick, make no mistakes, KC may not be a contender, but they're playing well, especially offensively, with three dudes on fire in different parts of the lineup. Piccolo is extremely solid. I mean, that's the thing is what makes a team like KC dangerous is they've got nothing to lose.
No, they don't.
We have something to lose. They don't.
Right.
One loss can go from top of the wild card to 3 games out. One loss. Like that's how tight it is.
That's how tight this sphincter is.
Yeah, these guys haven't even cracked the 40-win mark at this far into the season. So
yeah, but so real fast though, I do want to, Al, since you are the baseball man of the room, let me ask you, Cole Hamels, where's he at on your books? Is he? Let me put. Is he Jersey worthy? Or is, I mean, where do you?
Absolutely. I got my Cole Hamels. I've had a Cole Hamels jersey.
Because I'm usually the guy who gets modern day players. I get the jersey in case they go somewhere else. I get the legends.
Are you asking would I still rock the Cole Hamels?
Yeah, I mean, where are you? Where are you with
St.
him?
Pat's free to commitment. He only gets a shirt. You don't go get a jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've done that too many times, and that guy winds up stinking up the place, or I'm like the mush. So I don't want. I'd rather wait till he's submitted himself here, becomes a legend. Like I don't know if I could get myself a Drew jersey, 10 years down the road, just because, I just.
Oh my God.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm just looking at as.
Let it go.
Cole Hamels
is you anymore.
Yeah. But Cole Hamels again, a four-time All-Star, wins a World Series and World Series MVP, no hitter. We know this. He's got quite the resume here.
How's he not jersey worthy? He's been jersey worthy since 2010, in my eye. Oh, since before that, but he was automatically jersey worthy before then, and by far at this point, I mean, 10-year Philly. He was a huge instrumental part of us winning the World Series in 2008.
He got like almost, I think, like 16 or 18 wins in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, he was it was 4-0 in the
sixth most wins in franchise history.
Yeah, and he was 4-0 in 2008. Like he won the MVP for that World Series because he had a sub 200 in the in the postseason.
He went head-to-head with some pretty good pitchers. I mean, they matched him up with Kershaw probably.
Well, I mean, the batters are the ones he has to worry about more. But my point is, he went up against some of the best, and just had ice water at that year running through his veins. Now with 2009, he struggled a little bit at times. People are on him. But 2010, 11, he turned around. He wasn't a problem when the team started to fall apart any which way. He just got older, and they needed to start transitioning and get something for what they have and move forward. And
they got a hell of a haul for him too.
Yeah, and unfortunately moved us into the dark days of Philly sports for about a good solid decade. But I mean, I'm going to go with Steve right here. Hamels equals Phil's Hall of Fame and baseball Hall of VG.
Hall of Fame, probably.
Hall of I don't know.
I was going to say something else, bite my tongue.
I was going to say Hall of VG. I don't know what that is.
I might know what that is. I might know where it's at.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But my thing is, like, the man had an illustrious career. To not think he's jersey worthy, you're nitpicking.
Right.
Or maybe you're too young to remember, or maybe you're too old to think, well, he's no Whitey, he's no this, he's no, that kind of conversation is okay. Hall of very good.
Hall.
Is he Hall of Fame worthy? He does have a World Series MVP under
There's
his belt.
people there that done less.
Roy Halladay, had a great career, don't get me wrong, but never was able to win the big game. Guys like that. I don't know.
Scott Rowland's in the Hall of Fame, dude. If Scott Rowland's in the Hall of Fame,
I don't know if this is my homer speaking, but I don't know. Maybe he is. I can't. Yeah. I got to digest that one a little bit more, Steve, before I can even go there. But yeah, definitely the Phillies Wall of Fame by far.
And one more set of Hall of Fame since we got, the NFL Hall of Fame was over the week. So, Mike, you are the football head of the room. So let me ask: do you think some of these guys deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? You're like,
well, let's read down the list, and I'll tell you if they deserve to be.
Joe Thomas,
definitely.
Rondé Barber,
no.
Don Corwell,
yes.
Darrelle Revis,
yes.
Chuck Howley,
yes.
Joe Klicko,
oh, most definitely.
DeMarcus Ware,
yes.
Ken Riley,
yes.
Zach Thomas,
yes.
So they all deserve to be in there.
Yeah, the only one that doesn't deserve to be in there is Rondé Barber, in my eyes. If you're a Tampa Bay Bucs fan, and I say that with all due respect to Rondé Barber, I think he's right there. I think they just he was probably close. He got in, but me, it's close. Like, I wouldn't say he's not a Hall of Famer, but out of that class, Joe Thomas. He was a dominant tackle. DeMarcus Ware, dominant tackle. Joe Klecko, a part of one of the greatest defensive lines.
Local guy.
Went to Temple.
Mm-hmm.
So, although, did you guys see the shot that somebody took on Darrelle Revis?
No.
Yeah, it said Darrelle. They showed Darrelle Revis walking out, and it says, looks like Darrelle. Looks like Revis Island got an expansion because he had put some weight on.
Oh, yeah.
And it said and of course, I'm sorry. I watched the game Thursday night. Why they let DeMarcus Ware sing the national anthem? They should have never done that. It was the most brutal thing to listen to.
Really?
They let him sing the national anthem. It was brutal. It was
brutal.
Bad? But yeah, everybody who got in was Rondé deserves Hall of Fame more than his brother. I don't know. To me, I don't think he was really that special. It wasn't like people didn't move away from Rondé Barber. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember the Eagles specifically picking on him. He had one good play in that 2002 championship game.
I was going to say, did he make the championship game or did he miss it by a? No, he was in that one. Yeah,
no, he's the one that picked McNabb off and ran it back for a touchdown.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So, yes, they gave them a play, that'll go down in infamy for the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Did his brother miss the championships with the Giants? Didn't he didn't he get cut? Didn't he leave the year before they won that 2-year span they had?
No, he was on the Tiki's last year. They won it his last year, I believe. His last year was 2007. No, I think you're right. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think he retired 2006 because the Eagles retired him. They retired Tiki. Steve, it was pretty close, man. It was pretty close. But Pat, let's segue into our Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, let's do it.
as you know, I believe it's what, Friday night. They kick. Is it Thursday or Friday?
Real quick before we do that, guys, with the Eagle season coming up, and you need to get those great tickets. Hard to get tickets because Eagles, they sell out fast. But you want to get good premium seats without paying premium prices. I go to Sherry'sTickets.com. I know Mike and Pat do all the time. Sherry'sTickets.com, sports, concerts, theater, you name it, they got it. I don't care where in the country you're at. You can go there and get some great tickets with no hidden fees, great prices, and save yourself additional 10% off by using that great promo code EOP10. Again, promo code is EOP10. Sherry'sTickets.com. Check them out.
Yeah, I mean, and it all kind of kicks off this week, right? Eagles
Open practice today.
Yeah, they got the open practice tonight at the link. And if you guys are interested, they open up the preseason, Saturday night.
Yep.
Saturday night.
Right down in Baltimore, an hour and a half drive down 995.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there'll be tickets available. So if you guys want to go down and check out the birds down there, it should be pretty good. I'm looking at their schedule though. Like it's pretty like they have this game Saturday with the Ravens. Then they got the Browns at home, and then a week later they finish up with the Colts. So August 24th is basically the last game. What are you looking forward to seeing this week, Al? I'm going to go to you first. What are you most looking forward to see?
I'm going to go back what I said. I don't know if I said it here or one of my other shows, but Kobe Dean, and see how he wears that green dot. See if how he, because we all, like I said, it's a huge jump, not just from the fact that he played very little last year outside of special teams and a couple blowouts, but the fact that he's going to be the leader on defense is kind of a huge jump from little play to wearing that green dot. So he's going to be my most watched. Like on defense, if you're looking at the defensive line, they'll be like the offense. They'll get maybe a series or two tops. But you're not going to see too much of those guys in a complete unit, I should say. The backfield, you're not going to see too much. The secondary, you're not going to see too much from them. And then I guess the secondary would be the backfield for the offense to see how they run the ball against. Do they split up evenly? Does Penny get a little bit? Does Swift get a little bit? Does Kenny Gainwell get a little bit like Trea Sermon? That's another one.
He's been having a great camp from what I'm hearing.
Well, how many times we have camp superstars that don't make the team, or we all fall in love with them and they get.
I don't know. I've been pushing for this dude to get a start with the Eagles, and the only game they really put him in last year was the Jacksonville game. If you remember, we were at a live remote watching that game, and they gave him the ball like 4 times.
I remember Trea Sermon alert.
Yeah, and it was really funny because I think we were joking. I remember saying, I was like, "Yo, Al," I said, "I think I took Sermon to score a touchdown today," and you're like, "Did you?" And he scored, but it was a holding penalty. They brought it back. Yeah. I was like, "Yes, I hit," and then it was like holding. I was like, "No," but I'm interested to see how these young kids play. I want to see what Nolan Smith looks like. I want to see what Carter looks like. I want to see what Sidney Brown looks like. Apparently, he's been turning heads. I want to see what the kid Steen looks like playing right guard or right tackle. I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff. They did bring back Dennis Kelly for offensive line depth, which I thought was very smart. He's been here. He knows Stoutland very well.
What does that tell you about the offensive line depth, though? Did they bring somebody else? Don't get me wrong. I think our depth's better than some people starting.
Yeah.
But do you think there's some odd man out that's not going to carry as many guys? Like you're going to lose guys on the
Well, it all depends.
Squad?
It all depends on that. Could be, man, because I'm looking at it like this, man. Like the Eagles could go probably with 5 running backs. Can you imagine that? If you really, dude, Boston Scott could be the odd guy out.
Well, he might be special. They might keep him for special teams.
But listen, they could literally roll with 5 running backs. That's if they decide to keep Penny. I'm telling you, I'm thinking Penny's going to end up getting traded. I don't know why. I can see Howie taking him and flipping him for like a 3rd or a 4th. You know what I mean? Like before the end of training camp. Somebody's going to go down. Somebody's going to need a running back. You know what I mean? And I can just see the Eagles trading him off. Like, hey, nice to know you. But
yeah.
But again, because if you're looking at it, DeAndre Swift has really been kind of the story. The two backs that have been stories right now so far in this training camp has been him and Sermon. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
Sermon he's that big physical back that really the Eagles need.
They could put some blocks in for you. So yeah,
And Sermon can catch.
Right. So Sermon's going to be again another great piece out of the backfield, and like you said, DeAndre Swift, the Philly native, is going to hit the field today as in the practice. So it's going to be fun. But you know what I find fun too? Again, we talked about the Philly fans for the Phillies. How about this Eagles fan at like 4:00 in the morning camping out for Kelly Green jerseys?
Dude, that's going to be the next. I mean, that was listen. Usually, I'm going to be honest with you. The Eagle fans are great for the draft night party. When the drafts get ready to come up, you'll see people take off for that. And San Diego says special teams is pointless now with the new rules.
I agree.
He's got a point there.
I agree with that. I'm waiting for the day when they just take it out.
Yeah, right. It's just going to go to the 20.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it though. I mean, only here would we tailgate for jersey release.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. I mean, they at 4:00 in the morning they were sleeping.
But do you want to know the best? Like I remember, I grew up the time when the Eagles were playing in those jerseys,
right?
And I couldn't. You want to talk about like when they left the Kelly Greens and went to the midnight green and they changed the logo up and the helmets up? You should have you thought it was big. Now, there was people lining up at Modell's at midnight to go. They were supposed to open up, I think, at 5 in the morning. Literally, the owner of Modell's told his Philly location, if you guys want to open up at midnight, you can. There were lines going down the block and around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bringing back the Kellys was cool, but it just reminded me when they switched and went to the midnight greens in the mid '90s. That's what it reminded me of.
Well, I mean, this team. Let's be honest. We know this fan base gets behind its team, and we love our nostalgia. You were breaking my stones a little bit about my powder blues yesterday. Wearing it during the post game. I wore them all day yesterday. And I always say I like them better than the red and whites. To be honest with you,
so did I. They were my favorite uniforms.
The maroon and white and powder blue alternate jerseys, uniforms. Yeah. People ask me the question again: Kelly Green, midnight green. I mean, ultimately, I would say with the midnight green and like Kelly Green be the alternate. I mean, that's retro.
Yeah.
To me, like that's.
I agree with you because to me, being I guess kind of following being the older guy here, watching those teams. To me, yeah, it was a cool time because that's when the Eagles started to get good. They weren't getting their teeth kicked in every year. When they kind of transformed in. That was the era when those uniforms came in. They were just a spinoff of the mesh jerseys that the Eagles used to wear.
Right.
In the early part of the 80s. And during their Super Bowl run when they went to the Super Bowl. To me, that issued in Buddy Ryan kind of issued that in. So that era to me, that's what I grew up on. That was, Clyde Simmons, Byron Evans, Seth Joyner, Reggie White,
mm-hmm.
That team, Randall, Calvin Williams, Fred Barnett, Keith Byers, Keith Jackson. Like that, to me, that was that era because that's when Buddy got this group of collected guys and got them to believing that they were good. I mean, a lot of people kill Ryan for not winning a playoff game. But listen, during the regular season, in 3 years, he had 32 victories in 3 years. So he was averaging over 10 wins a season. He just couldn't get it done in the playoffs.
No.
He had 2. I mean, let's be real. I mean, they did get screwed in '88 when they played in that BS Fog Bowl game that should have never been allowed to continue.
Right.
I mean, the Eagles were the better team that year. They were beating the Bears, and all of a sudden the fog rolls in, and the NFL let them continue. Dude, today that game would never even. They would have stopped the game. But that's what the Kelly Greens mean to me. Now, midnight green, that's when they became world champions. You know what I mean? They
that's when this era of football that we know over the last since year 2000 say has been. So yeah, that's why I'm saying the midnight green is my favorite, but I do love the Kelly Green. They look sleek.
I didn't like the version that they came out with in 2010. I didn't like
where it was just really bright and with the white lettering. There's no eagle.
Yeah,
on
that was kind of a throwback to the '60 team.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, but they made it.
Well, that's because it was the 50th anniversary of that of that
Yeah,
championship.
Yeah,
And the reason is, but you had to wear it with midnight green helmets. It just didn't look right.
yeah.
Now that they can have
Right.
alternate helmets, it just
Which I didn't understand what made the NFL take so long, because if you look at, was it Cincinnati when they did the rush colors, they
Oh, yeah.
changed their helmets, and like they gave the Eagles such a hard time in changing their helmets. Like I don't get that. Like Buffalo, I think, or no, Atlanta. Atlanta went to the red helmets with the black falcon.
Steve is not a proponent of the Kelly Green.
I know a lot of people are not. I know a lot of people.
Well, a lot
feel
of people who are my age, literally, yeah, because it brings up.
I don't
a
want
time
to
of
ask
failure.
Steve. I feel like put him on. Like, Steve, how old are you? That's what I really would like to know. Like, because I wonder if it's an age thing. Like,
I think it's just because they didn't win anything. In
no, they
Kelly
didn't.
Green.
I mean, it's a.
I mean, dude, they got close. I mean,
it's a time when the team was like where it was smash nose, smash mouth
Smash Mouth.
football, and they kind of were coming out of the primordial ooze of the NFL.
yeah.
In my opinion, like I said, a lot of the fan base is from the '80s, and that's like I said, that's what they remember.
Dude, there's a writer that wrote for the Enquirer. His name was Phil Anastasia. He had the best line.
Yeah,
He had
I remember Phil.
he had the best line ever about those early '90s teams of the Eagles. He said the road to the Super Bowl came through Philadelphia. The problem is, he said the Eagles never got on that road.
Yeah,
And he was 1,000% right. It was like the Eagles would get to a playoff game, and it's like whatever could go wrong went wrong. Like I remember they got smoked at home by the Rams, and the Rams were god awful. I mean, the Eagles had played them like not even a month earlier in the season, and the Eagles played them out there and smoked them. And I'll never forget, it was '89. They played them, they smoked them out there, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm like, they're gonna play them in the wild card. Like the Eagles are gonna kill them, dude. They came here and dropped a 40 piece on the Eagles.
Wow.
But to the Rams' credit, they actually got to the NFC title game that year and lost to the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it just seemed like whoever the Eagles beat, they got to the title game. Like whoever came in and beat us.
You earned your stripes. Like
yeah,
that?
like I remember the Redskins came in the following year, Buddy's last year. Redskins came in.
Yeah, well, look, it's going to be a crazy time. We're getting ready to wrap up the show. So, Mike,
hold on 1 second. I want to, before we get anything, I guys remind you that check out the EOP lineup. I know most of this lineup is fulfilled already. So if you missed it, the podcasts are available wherever you get your podcasts. You go to EOPsports.com, our YouTube page, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Subscribe, check it out. All those shows are there. If you missed it, if you want to talk a lot of Steel Steps action over the last 48 hours between your a great interview with the Godfather of VCW, Ty Gordon, and as well as you guys, summing up what happened last night at SummerSlam.
Yeah, post-game SummerSlam show.
Yeah, so and of course, PM and AM will be on subscription or on podcasting as well. And there's going to be some new things coming along here. Mike, why don't we talk about one of the new things that we got going on here?
Whoa!
Yeah, that's
Who's
right.
that handsome feller?
Look at that thing.
Yeah, man. The 17th of August, I will be debuting the Locker Room Sports show here on Edge of Philly Sports at 7 p.m. I will be preluding Matty B. So you get a double dose of Philly Sports. You get myself at 7, 8 o'clock. Matty B will be on. And so.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, you might be.
No, it'll be Switch.
Oh,
Matty B's back to.
Oh, he's back.
Listen, guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. There's going to be some moving around on the scheduling of EOP generally. We have a couple new shows coming back, coming around. Some college shows coming up, things like that. A lot of new things. But Mike is going to be one of those new awesome things. You see Mike here on PM and the AM, but Mike has done his own show before. He'll be doing it live here from the studio as well. So very excited to have this on. So we'll see. Guys, check out some even more.
So, like again,
sports talk here.
First show will be the 17th, and no, my special guest will not be the Gobbler because I do Sundays with this guy. So I have to give him some time off.
And he can work with me 40 hours a week.
Yeah, and I don't have enough coffee.
So, but I mean, look, right after you on Thursday nights, 9 o'clock will be the attacking third. So I mean, again, you get 4 for 4.
There you go. You get me leading up in the thing, kicking balls.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on here at Edge of Philly Sports. We're always busy, and like Al said, stay tuned because there's a lot more coming.
Well, guys, listen. For our producer extraordinaire, Al Safiri, and for the ball juggler, Pat Bedard, I'm Mike Laro. See you guys next week.
See ya. Gobble, gobble, gobble.